Hi my friends, today I'm in Hussein Day and we are going to drive to Bouzareah and visit le village Celeste, or the Celestial Village as they call it. In fact, le village Celeste is an area of Bouzareah, the Celestial Village, okay? Such a beautiful name, in fact. And it's an area of Bouzareah where the center, the geological and geophysical and astronomical center of Algeria is located, okay? So that center is called Crag, and there is a space observatory there, and they also have seismic observation equipment in that area. So it's a very important place for science here in Algiers. And well, we're going to visit it, and then, you know, from that village we are going to drive down the Sidi Benor road in order to go to Boulevard, which is one of Algiers' main neighborhoods, main and oldest neighborhoods also. So now, as usual, we are driving near the Cité Améroche, or the Améroche apartment complex. As you can see, it's a very beautiful neighborhood lined with trees, with palm trees, in fact. There is a kindergarten on my left. There is a primary school on my right. We were just driven past it. And, well, as usual, there is the logo of the local soccer team, Notre Hussein Day, NAHD, or the Hussein Day victory. And now, well, this area here is called La Résidence. Okay, the La Résidence, or the residence apartment complex. The buildings you see on the right. There are a couple good hotels here when you take the right. One of them is the New Day Hotel. New Day Hotel, and it's in fact named after Hussein Day. Okay, it's like a pun. Okay, New Day, the English word D-A-Y, but in fact it's spelled New Day, D-E-Y, and Day is in fact a Turkish word which dates back to the Ottoman period here in Algeria, and Hussein Day means day. The day Hussein, or something like Governor Hussein, okay? Because Hussein Day was the last governor, Turkish or Ottoman governor of Algeria, and he surrendered in 1830 when the French colonized Algeria. And this is the Zapata Square, named after Emiliano Zapata, the Mexican revolutionary. Now, you've got to be a little bit careful around here because there is a wide roundabout, wide area where people might sometimes drive in a very careless way. Driving through the underpass. Now, we are in the area of Ruisseau, or the brook, or the creek. Okay, this is French for brook or creek or small river. And there is a students' hall here, a dormitory here on my left. These are abandoned facilities on my left, my left too. But someday they are going to build something here, so the area is going to change quite significantly in a few years. Don't be surprised. And on my right, you can see the wall of Algiers' main power station. You can see those chimneys over there. This is a huge power generation station, and I think that it services not just Algiers but many other provinces here in Algeria. In Algeria, and now, you take the right over there, are going to arrive at the Algiers Botanical Garden that you can see on my left here. Okay, all those trees. It's like the Amazon forest. It's a very beautiful area, very beautiful garden with a zoo inside it. But we are taking this ramp instead in order to drive. I mean, in order to join the La Route Moutonnière, or the Algiers main highway. See, that drives straight through city center. Okay. The Sofitel Hotel is on my left over there. You can see it. And this is adjacent to the Botanical Garden, to Jardin d'Essai. Our main botanical garden is called Jardin d'Essai. And right in front of us you can see the city center. All those buildings over there are part of the Champ de Manœuvre, or 1er Mai, or May Day neighborhood. And on my left you can see the neighborhood of Belouizdad, or Bellecour, as it was known in colonial times. If you are riding the bus, then you should, and going to Bellecour, then you should get off here and take this bridge here in order to join Bellecour, in order to go to Bellecour. So this is your bus stop if you are going to Bellecour or Belouizdad. And Belouizdad is one of the Algerian activists that worked for the or advocated Algerian independence back in the 1930s and the 1940s, and he died. He was killed by the French before the beginning of the Algerian Liberation War, which means before 1954. He was killed by the French in the early 40s, I think. But he is still celebrated as one of the pioneers, as one of the fathers of Algeria's independence. Because very few Algerians, right at the beginning, before Algerians started their war for independence, very few Algerians, dared to claim independence. And this is part of the 1er Mai neighborhood, but we are skipping it through this underpass here. And the brown building over there is part of the Mustafa Pasha Hospital. This underpass is good because it's well lit up. And now we are leaving the 1er Mai neighborhood, or the May Day neighborhood, in order to join this, street here, which is known as the Independence Avenue. Independence Avenue, Avenue de l'Indépendance. That white building over there is, I think, part of the Ministry of Finance. It's the Accounting Council, in fact. We are still driving on Independence Avenue, Avenue de l'Indépendance, which celebrates Algeria's independence. The country got its independence in 1962. There is a market here, around here, the Lpr market, and the road is unusually bumpy on the right lane. And there is also a swimming pool, the Lpr swimming pool, which is also named after one of the martyrs of the Algerian independence, Lpr, a leader of the independence war. All these underpasses we are driving through are making our lives easy here in Algiers, because they allow us to skip traffic. Right above us there are intersections and crossroads, and roundabouts that are usually crammed, that are usually, paralyzed by traffic on work days. So these underpasses are in fact very good tools to skip us, to spare us all that traffic, infernal traffic that usually plagues those crossroads and intersections in the areas where those underpasses are located. And now we have just joined this street, the Mohammed Bougara Boulevard. Okay, Mohammed Bougara Boulevard, which is one of Algiers' longest streets, and it links the Galini Square to the neighborhood of Lpr. In fact, most streets here in Algeria are named after heroes of the Algerian Independence War, or fighters who took part in the Algerian Independence War. Okay, and Mohammed Bougara is one of them too. Now, Mohammed Bougara is one of the streets that links the lower parts of Algiers to the higher parts of Algiers. We were just a few minutes ago, we were in Champ de Manœuvre, which is on the seashore, in fact, on the coast, near the Algiers port. And now we have reached one of the highest parts of Algiers. And this place here, this area here with this bend, is in fact an area where you have a very beautiful view. I'm gonna skip filming here because, all right, no problem. All right, it's okay. We can continue. And well, there is a beautiful view from here. If you want to, admire the view of Algiers and the Algiers Bay, of the Algiers city center and the Algiers Bay and the eastern parts of Algiers. So you can see it all from here, from this area. We are still driving on the Bougara Boulevard street, or the Boulevard Mohammed Bougara. There is even a beautiful balcony. You can take one of those of these right turns here to drive to a balcony which is known as the Saint Rafael Balcony. Okay, Saint Rafael Balcony, which is a very beautiful place, a small garden, and the balcony from which you can admire a very beautiful view of Algiers. And in fact, the neighborhood we are driving to, Bouzareah, is the highest point of Algiers. I mean, the culminating point of this province, of the Algiers province, is located there. And it's more than 700 meters above sea level. Lpr isn't as high as the neighborhood of Bouzareah, so we must be, Lpr must be at something like 500 meters above sea level. And of course, now we are approaching Lpr, or the center of Lpr, because all this area you see around us here is part of the municipality of Lpr, and this place is known for its traffic, so we've got to be a little bit patient. There is a kindergarten on my left, the Boogara kindergarten. There is a post office here. We are approaching the Lpr Mosque, such a beautiful mosque, one of the oldest here in Algiers. I mean, in the modern part of Algiers, of course, because all these areas are, modern parts of Algiers. They are not part of the Algiers old city, the Kasbah. And, well, We're also approaching the JFK, or the John Fitzgerald Kennedy Square. The John Fitzgerald Kennedy, or the Kennedy Square, plus Kennedy, which is in the center of Lpr. This is Lpr's, on my right, you have you can see the, Lpr's main post office. And there is also a gas station here, in case you want to put fuel in your car. This area is the heart of the Lpr neighborhood, with some shopping malls and lots of stores and restaurants. And this is the Kennedy Square, named after U.S. President John Fitzgerald Kennedy, who was assassinated in 1963, just a year after Algeria got its independence. And he was named, this place, Algeria, named this place to honor him because he supported Algeria's independence. Okay, go ahead, no problem. And now we're taking a right here, around here, in order to. We are on the Malika Gate. Look at those signs over there. Okay, so Wet Quraysh and Babelwed, and this is definitely the turn that we need to take in order to go to Bouzareah. Okay, it's a little bit tricky, but you know, you've got to. In fact, you know, right after you are out of the Kennedy Square area, take the left, and then you take the first road to the right. There we go. Now we are going down to the Cardinal Bridge. This is how they call it, the Cardinal Bridge. You can see that beautiful building over there. The road has always been bumpy here for some reason. Probably because the soil underneath it isn't really very solid. So every time they pave it, the vehicles would make it bumpy like this. Okay, so the asphalt, you know, distorts because of the weight of the vehicles. And now here it gets normal. The road gets normal. So it has always, ever since I can remember, the road has been, you know, bumpy around there. And the building I was telling you about is in fact one of Algiers' highest buildings. I'm not sure what it is. I haven't asked yet. And well, here the road is very, very rough. Ever since I can remember, it has always been rough too. Well, I hope they fix it soon, or they repave it soon, because it sometimes gets on my nerves. And now, look at this. Yes, so as I told you, that building, beautiful building on the top of that hill, is one of Algiers' highest buildings, and it's located in Châteauneuf. It's also a very beautiful building, okay, in addition to being tall. And now we have reached the Cardinal Bridge. It's on our right. We are going to cross it in order to cross over to the area of Bouzareah. There we go. You can see the sign on my right, Bouzareah. So as I said, Bouzareah is Algiers' highest neighborhood, and you can just, you know, see for yourself how long we will be driving up to reach the top of that plateau. Okay, because in fact Bouzareah is a neighborhood built on a plateau, on a very high plateau, more than 700 meters high. It took us 19 minutes to drive as far as here, but because it's a Friday morning, you know, there is almost no traffic. While if we drove on a normal work day, on a normal weekday, it would have been taking us probably an hour just to arrive here. And traffic here is even more infernal. And you know, the more you approach the center of Bouzareah, which is very far from here, in fact, although all this is part of the area of Bouzareah, but you know, the center of Bouzareah is still far away. It's still, I think, 3 or 4 miles away. So as you drive closer to the center of Bouzareah, the traffic gets slower. So the closer to the center of Bouzareah you drive, the slower traffic gets. All right, so just look at how fun it is to drive through these roads on a Friday morning when they are empty. Look at this. No traffic, no buses or slow trucks to slow you down. Great. Now we're driving through the neighborhood of Baranes, and in fact buses that carry people to Bouzareah and that take this route would would tell you that people riding them would tell you that this is the Bouzareah bus through Baranes. Okay, this is the bus that goes to Bouzareah through Baranes. Okay, so this is the Baranes road. Okay, or this is the Baranes route. It's long, but it's also interesting. Sorry, I can't pick up hitchhikers when I can't give people rides when I'm filming, because I should ask them to to remain silent, and it's a little bit embarrassing. Okay, great. And the people you see waiting here on sidewalks are usually waiting for the bus to come. Okay, but because it's a Friday morning, buses are there are very, very few buses that would work. Okay, so still a couple kilometers to go before we reach the center of Bouzareah, or the central crossroads of the neighborhood. There is a beautiful mosque around here. Some bus stops are marked with bus shelters, just like this one here. Okay, the others are unmarked, no signs and no bus shelters to indicate to people that there is a bus stop there. It's a little bit annoying because all right, local residents usually know where the bus stops are. Okay, but what about strangers? What about visiting strangers? And Algiers is always visited by strangers from all over the country, and even foreigners. Okay, we have more and more foreigners coming to live and work here in Algeria, and tourists, foreign tourists, and countless Algerian immigrants that come to visit their families here in Algeria, and they all need everything to be clear. Okay, so they need, the local authorities absolutely need to mark these bus stops along these roads with bus shelters or at least signs. We're still continuing to ascend the high plateau. Okay, sorry. One has to drive very carefully around here because there are a lot of pedestrians, especially on work days and school days. when kids go to school. And well, we are approaching the center of Bouzareah, and the unmistakable sign for that is the minarets that I've just seen protruding from behind the houses. All right. The road is good in this part of Bouzareah, but it's catastrophic on the road, on the Binem road, which is further to the west. And now, yes, we have just arrived at the center of Bouzareah. This is the center with this beautiful mosque here, and well, the roundabout on my left. And now we're taking the right turn in order to go to the road of the Observatory. Okay. This is how it's known around here, but it's, I think, officially known as Sidi Ben Nor Road. Okay, so this is part of the old Bouzareah neighborhood with its colonial houses and everything. There is a hospital on the right. You can see how narrow the road gets here, and how, you know, okay, so there is a sign on my left which says Crag. Okay, so Crag is the center, the research center, the geological and astronomical research center, Centre de recherche astronomique et géologique, I think, of Algiers, of Algeria. And now we are going to drive through that road right in front of us, and through the celestial village, the village Celeste. Took us 27 minutes in order to arrive, to drive from Champ de Manœuvre, May the 1st, to this place. And right on my right here, there is the cableway station. The cableway station. But the cableway, okay, so that cableway line leads to Boulevard, okay, and but you know, the cableway is closed for now because Algeria is still under, you know, a lockdown because of the coronavirus crisis. And now we've just left the center of Bouzareah. We are driving through the area known as Le Village Celeste, the celestial village, and you know, everything on my left is part of that neighborhood, and this is where the astronomical and geological center of Algeria is located. It's I think that this is also where the Algerian Space Agency is located, and there is a space observatory here. There are people. Okay, there is look, arrêt de bus, bus stop. That sign over there. Okay, so you know, they could have installed such signs along the, you know, along the Bananes road that we just drove through, and you know, in order to mark bus stops. So as I told you, there is a space observatory here. It was created in the 1850s, and well, it was developed in the 1880s, and you know, it became one of the most important space observatories. In fact, the most important space observatory here in Algeria. You know, there you go. That's the center. That's the center over there. This is the, yes. So it's called Centre de Recherche en Astronomie, Astrophysique et Géophysique. So the Algerian Research Center of Astronomy, Astrophysics and Geophysics. You can see the white wall here, and you know, there are telescopes there, and there is also seismic equipment, seismic observation equipment, and well, this is usually the center that detects earthquakes here in Algeria, and well, several asteroids were discovered at this center. Two of which are named after Algeria. One is named Algiers, and the other is named Algeria. So Algiers, the Algiers asteroid was discovered in 1916, I think, and the Algeria asteroid was discovered in 1930, and both those asteroids are part of the main asteroid belt in the solar system. A huge asteroid belt with billions of asteroids that's located between planets Mars and Jupiter. All right, so now we're continuing down the Sidi Benor road. Sidi Benor Road. It's as you can see, it's a residential area. People living here probably have a very beautiful view of Algiers, of the lower parts of Algiers. And there is a park here. In fact, there is a park, but it seems to, I mean, it looks abandoned. In fact, it's a wood. It's rather a wood. Oh, and there is another cableway around here. So Télécabine Station Villa Celeste. Yes. So this is the Celestial Village cableway station. The last time I drive through this road was, I think, 6 or 7 years ago. Nothing of this existed, and I even found a slum around here. See, a slum that kind of, you know, was intimidating to approach, so to say. I came here, I drove here, all the way here in order to check whether one could come and you know, enjoy a picnic here in these woods. But what I discovered instead was you know, an undeveloped area that was rather scary to visit. Okay, and now, ladies and gentlemen, my friends, guys, please look at this. It's such a very beautiful view, although unfortunately it's a little bit foggy. It's a little bit foggy or misty, but you know, it's such a beautiful view. This is one of the most beautiful parts of Algiers. You can see that post over there. It is part of the cableway. Okay, the cableway line. Look at how narrow this road gets here. It's you know, you wouldn't see such a narrow road even in you know, Algeria's most remote areas. And look at people, you know, who come by car, park their cars here just to admire this beautiful view. Just look at the sea right underneath us, and what I can see is the Boulevard stadium. Unfortunately, I can't film it for you. And there is the other stadium, the Ramila Stadium. And now look at this road here, and I can also see this the Notre Dame Basilica, or the, you know, it's a church, one of the oldest here in Algiers. The road is a little bit bumpy, it's shaking, a little bit shaking here, but you know, I can also, you know, see that church from here. And it looks like the French Riviera, in fact. It reminds me of the French Riviera. And all the road that drives down to Monaco. It's such a beautiful place. So now we are driving down to the neighborhood of we are still on the City Benor road, and we are driving down the neighborhood of we're driving down to the neighborhood of Babloued. And well, these bends, you know, you've got to be a little bit careful around these bends here, see, because they are very sharp. And well, it reminds me of the countryside, it reminds me of Kabylie. And oh, that's the church, guys. That's the church, the Notre Dame Basilica, Notre Dame d'Afrique, Our Lady of Africa Basilica. You can see it on the right over there. We will visit it in another video. And now, yes, let's continue driving down. And in fact, that basilica is built in an area or a neighborhood known as Zghara. So we are approaching the area of Zghara. And Zghara is named after a river, the river of Zghara. And well, I guess that the name comes from Tamazight, or the Tamazight language, the Berber language. And, because, you know, the word Azaghar means plain. It means plain. Alright, so now we have entered the built-in area. We are back to civilization after having driven through a section of, you know, nature, through that very beautiful, you know, cliff road. It's such a beautiful area to visit. You can see that mosque over there, which faces the sea. It must be very, you know, pleasant, very, you know, very agreeable to pray in a mosque like that. It's, you know, because it faces the sea. And it must be, I mean, the air must be very cool there. See, you would pray and enjoy fresh air coming straight from the sea, and the view is really breathtaking. It's really very beautiful on my left. Masjid al-Dawa, so the Dawa Mosque. This is the name of this mosque. And Dawa is an Arabic word which means, you know, invitation, to invite people to Islam, okay? So it's like an equivalent of missionary work, okay? And I think this is the City Benor village or neighborhood. Yes, you can see that sign over there, street sign. City Benor, Chemin City Benor, City Benor road. I haven't been here in a very long time, and you know, guys, believe me, I have really enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed visiting this place again after so many years. Okay, so never mind, my brother. And now we're approaching the you know, Babloued, of course. And we will be entering Babloued through a neighborhood called Bazeta. A road that links Triole, the Triole roundabout, to the center of Babloued, or to the heart of the neighborhood of Babloued. I hate this road here, or this section of the road here in particular, because it has those branches that go across the road. In fact, those branches are, you know, ducts built for the water to pass when it rains. Okay, to avoid floods, to avoid, you know, to make these streets less flooded when it rains, because it does rain around here, okay? And by the way, I would also recommend that you don't drive through this road on a misty day, on a day when there is fog, on a foggy day. Why? Because, you know, visibility around here, because it's a very high area, okay? We are now driving out of that very high area, which is 700 meters. It would sometimes snow on that Bouzareah plateau and not in the rest of Algiers, okay? So this is the highest part of Algiers, and it would get very cold there and not in the rest of Algiers. It would get very foggy there because it's as high as the clouds sometimes, okay? So it would sometimes be covered in clouds, and the rest of Algiers is sunny, and it would also get very cold, and it would also get very rainy and very foggy there. So you need to be careful not to drive through this road on a foggy day, okay? And also avoid this road at night, especially late at night, okay? So when in Algiers, do as Algiers residents do, normal, ordinary Algiers residents do, okay? If a resident from Algiers tells you that it's better for you to avoid driving through a road at a given time, then better listen to them. And now we have arrived in Boulevard, in the Basilica area, and I think that this is the end of our journey. It took us 40 minutes to drive from Champ de Manœuvre, or May the 1st, to this place. Take care of yourselves. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notifications button, the little bell on your YouTube page, in order to receive any notifications on my new videos. Drive safely, take care of yourselves, and goodbye.